everybody, and welcome to Red Wings Rant, where tirades and impassioned pleas for your Detroit Red Wings finally have a home. Mike.
Oh, yeah.
Are officially in Tristan season.
Oh, yeah. Tristan time.
Tristan goes, these are the episodes I live for.
Let's
and then Chewy says, for sure. For sure.
Ketzel.
We have now, here's the thing, everybody. Hey, Ketzel, what's going on, my man? Here's how we're going to run the show today. We're going to move quickly. Somebody on the show has stuff to do. So,
might be going to the New York Rangers game on Saturday.
Well, as the Red Wings podcast, we're all thrilled for you.
Yeah.
Rangers
have fun. And Devils. I get to watch the Jack-Off in person.
Oh, right.
Jack Hughes and Jack... give me the other Jack.
Who was the... Oh, my God. Who's the other Jack? Wait.
Guys, I need a Jack on the Rangers.
Were they having fun with Trouba? Yeah, help us out. Was it Trouba? I don't know. Anyway, that was a fun tweet. But we don't even remember who we're talking about. Anyway, more Red Wings news. Global Series. Yeah. Red Wings are going to Sweden.
Yes.
November 16th and 17th. Red Wings will be playing our old rivals and who some would say are new rivals. Ottawa Senators on the 16th. Toronto Maple Leafs on the 17th. Saw a lot of teams complaining this year about making a trip overseas in the middle of the season. So, yeah.
Ketzel with an early bid for comment of the show. Additional home games because of all the Swedish guys. I like that a lot.
Yeah, hopefully we're playing these like it's a home ice advantage. I don't know how much there is to talk about here, but just to be like, oh, this is going to be kind of cool. Games at 2:00 in the afternoon.
Well, first thing, right? It's smart to include us because of our roster makeup, right?
Mm-hmm.
But whenever stuff like this happens, like across, the NBA, maybe not so much the NFL, but the NFL does attempt it. And my God, people actually buy tickets to like Jaguars, Lions when they're both bad. Incredible. Or like wrestling when it goes abroad. The best part for me is watching these crowds. Because I think we're kind of conditioned for what a crowd experience is. And it's like the crowd experience in, the United States is so like curated where they even try to get you to like they try to induce chanting. They try to induce like certain reactions where, we're going to get to kind of see what Sweden does organically. So I'm pretty pumped to see that.
Yeah, it'll be Dan B throws out there. I'm going to try and get a trip package and attend this. That, wow. Mike, that's a new day, I would say, for Red Wings Rant. If we could put together a package, meet up with the boys. We know we have a couple of listeners that actually reside in Sweden. Be fun to hook up there. I myself had the same thought. I was thinking, here's the problem. Family vacations in October. So this is 1 month after that. So it's going to be a lot of money. But yeah. Jared thrown out there. Wings get screwed into weekday games. Well, Jared, this is the time to have it happen. If you're a work from home employee like I am, you can get pretty lucky and get to spend your day watching hockey instead. At least I'm thinking about still taking half the day to enjoy it. But we have a lot to talk about and very little time. So cool news. Why not?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, Mike, I love this slide.
I wanted to hit on this. Jack Han, we're sharing his tweet. Incredible info from Derek Lalone on Vasilevsky's weakness. Now, this is something that was shared on Sportsnet. And Derek said, we did a study on Vasilevsky. This is in the between period breaks. If you guys aren't aware, Lalone is a part of the Canadian broadcast discussing, the games that he's watching. And this happened to be Toronto and Tampa. We did a study. Of course, him talking about Vasilevsky. He was one of the lower percentage goalies in finding pucks from the point. We changed our entire D zone coverage based on that. And Mike, follow up, Cooper said to Lalone or about this comment. He said, that's what he's paid to do. He's paid to go on there and make these comments. I just hope that when he makes comments, they're accurate.
Ooh. Yeah, I mean, Derek Lalone strikes me. He strikes me as one of those guys who used to watch Magicians Exposed, where they would show you how the magic tricks were done. Hey, wait a minute. Vasilevsky, no, he doesn't have any weaknesses. Come on, Derek.
This comment did, like, I've already put Vasilevsky on my Mount Rushmore of goaltenders. Like, he's up there. I mean, especially with the amount of hockey I've watched this part of my life compared to more, even the Dominik Hasek era, Martin Brodeur. I'm so happy to toss Patrick Waugh off that thing. Like, if I have to make room, but of course I could just go with those four and I'm good. Those are obviously the four I've called off top of mind. So it's probably those four. But any hoozles. Mike, I wondered, so this has hurt, like, for a moment. I was like, oh God, not a fan of Vasilevsky. Don't do me wrong like that, Derek. But Mike, I wanted to ask you, I had fun with this. I've been to a party, Mike, once or twice in my life, and I've wanted to fit in. I've wanted to bring value to a party. Okay. I've recently changed jobs, and I'm guilty of doing this with my coworkers. Mike, was this an overshare from Derek? Did he cross a line here? Was this something where Derek was like, everybody was bringing up pretty cool stuff, and Derek was like, I gotta keep up with these guys. I gotta keep my job. And he was like, I know, I have an internal study that probably had some sort of signature attached to receiving the study that none of it would be shared. I can talk about it now.
I will say that, I think getting as insidery as possible. I think that's what the people want. And I mean, it's not going to tarnish for me. I don't think it's really going to tarnish Vasilevsky. I mean, he's a, multiple Stanley Cup champion. Yeah. But no, I think one of the things that, people really like is people who can look under the hood and kind of give you information that you aren't privy to, which is, I think we're going to talk about that in a moment with Brad Marchand. But yeah, I think this kind of stuff really boosts the game because sometimes it can be so cryptic about what people are doing, like how people are succeeding. It's not that long ago that we thought plus minus was a usable stat. I mean, it's, nothing. So having stuff like this, I think it also, lets you take it into the Red Wing realm when you wonder, what is Yzerman doing in that draft room? And then you start to see, okay, our faces are too close to the elephant. So then when you start to back up, you're like, oh, is he setting up a contingency plan for Kosa, who is a Vasilevsky-shaped goalie? Is that why he's pursuing like the defenseman that he's been drafting and, making a high priority at, the top of our draft boards, for consecutive years. So I think a comment like that, it just really, it makes me feel a little bit better about, what is the future for this team. And it kind of shows you that there is a large scale scheme, even for an incredible organization like the Lightning with an incredible player like Vasilevsky, that they still had to find a way to, maximize him as much as possible.
Now, Dan B throws out there, I think Newsy should be scouting and not broadcasting. I think he's got enough time. I'm okay with this. I still lean. I'm gonna lean into this, and I think Lalone might have overshared here. I think like this could get you into some trouble. But Mike, to your point, I think the positive here, I think he gave us some insight that the likes of Dom Luszczyszyn, Prashant Iyer, closer to the Red Wing fam. Of course, he's got a new podcast out there. I think this could open some eyes and like, oh my God, there's so many things that I've never even heard about from another goaltender. Like taking a look at data and coming up with this sort of assessment. Like we are so far away from what the NHL has access to is another eye opener for me with this. But like we said, we have so many topics today. We got to keep moving.
I know.
Express and reporting Gustav Lindstrom actively searching for a place to play in Europe. Maybe he was just looking for the global series. He was like, let's play in Sweden, guys. But no, looks like Lindstrom's out the door. He was going to be one of our right side solutions. But, this is one of those that, maybe we failed him. People have been pointing out that he was the pick before, of course, Dallas Stars monster point producer Jason Robertson. But I don't, you can't know that Jason Robertson. I mean, that's one of those things you have to luck into, is a second round pick.
Right.
Dallas would have picked him in the first, so many teams would have traded ahead, picked him number 1 if we knew Jason Robertson was going to be Jason Robertson. So you can't fault the Red Wings for taking Gustav Lindstrom. I think ultimately it's just, this stinks. Another draft pick that didn't pan out for us, and it's a top 60 draft pick. Those are the kind of things that we're hoping with these discussions today. We're going to talk about some potential hits, and we already know there's some Wallanders in the Red Wings system that we hope are second round hits. But this is obviously what can happen, and this is maybe to the point of where the value is at for second round picks, that maybe with 3 second round picks, 2 first round picks, maybe the answer is not drafting with all 5 of them, but trading for someone. That being said, another non-draft opportunity. Last year, we were pretty excited to see Pontus Andreasson come over. He, of course, was a Rookie of the Year candidate over in the SHL. And it didn't pan out in Grand Rapids, and Pontus is headed back over to the SHL. Actually, I can't say. I'm going to say he's going back overseas. Is Falcoman? Could someone confirm that? Is that another SHL team? I don't want to talk out of my ass. I just know he's going back overseas. So we lose Gustav, we lose Pontus. It was just going to be one of those cool things. If it hit, and it was going to be neat. But it didn't work out. Okay, Mike, what you just hinted at.
Oh yeah.
Some NHL news. There's a scuffle in front of the benches, caught some naughty words, and Brad Marchand threw out there it was very disrespectful that it was broadcast on television. He's concerned, Mike, that the boys can't be boys anymore, and they're going to make a play to make sure, and he's talking about like the NHLPA, to make sure that doesn't happen. I have a very, maybe not hot take. I think it's a make sense take, but I don't know if you want to take this one first. But I've been, when I heard about this, I've been kind of stewing about it. But yeah, I don't know.
No, this guy could be more off base. I don't know if he knows, but he gets paid millions of dollars to be in the entertainment business.
Yep.
So I mean, we're looking for content. We want to learn who these players are. We like hearing that human interaction. It's no secret on this podcast. I apologize. I'm a gigantic basketball nerd, and getting a hot mic when Jimmy Butler's going to eliminate the beloved Milwaukee Bucks, saying, "This my shit. All this my shit." That was some pretty goddamn entertaining stuff. So I'm just saying, they encourage that in that league, and I think the NHL, don't listen to Marchand. He does not speak for all of us. We want more of this content. I think we want to hear more chirping, less microphones on pleasant players. I don't want friendly guys getting the mics. I want the agitators. I actually wouldn't mind it on your boy Kachuk, Matt, just to hear people go, all the colorful language I'm sure they have to rebut that piece of crap.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this. For a guy that licks people and that makes it onto national television, quite a take for discussing disrespect.
What don't you want us to know, Brad?
Yeah.
What are you hiding?
Number 2, this is why I was angry, because he certainly brought this up as if this will be a point of contention at like the next CBA. Mike, this is why the players seemingly lose every goddamn fucking negotiation at the CBA. Because this is, and you know what? Some people are going to get mad at me, but like their big things are going to be this bitchy shit about, I don't want my words to show up because I don't want anybody to get canceled. Hey, don't be a piece of shit. You won't get canceled. Number 2, they're always like, I want to make sure my big fight is I want to go to the Olympics. That's fine. The Olympics are pretty sweet. I admit it, but those are their big fights, and this is why they lose every goddamn time in every CBA and they are just embarrassing themselves in regards to every other league. I just like, this is it. This is what they care about. It's always like, oh, boy, the boys got to be the boys. It's like, no, man, you fucking idiots. You just gave them another thing that the owners are going to play against you and say, well, take a look at those escrow numbers if you guys want to take the microphones away from between the benches. And you know who loses with that? Because they could still say whatever the fuck they want if there was a microphone there. It's just the fans. Just the fans lose because of what you said. So for everyone that's been recently jumping on the Brad Marchand bandwagon, come on, hop off with us, because he's always been a fucking idiot, in my opinion, and this is just more of that.
Yeah, I mean, he's a fucking boy licker, you know, and I think he just wants to limit how much of his boy licking that we really know about. So it's really an indictment on him.
Val Coleman was meant welcome on that graphic Jared called out. Thanks, Jared.
Team welcome. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, really fucked that one up. Okay, so back to draft talk and how many picks we have. Mike, this was shared on Twitter, and a lot of people were like, "Ha ha, get the fuck out of here." Alex DeBrincat, Lassie Thompson for Andrew Kopp, a 2023 first round pick, a 2023 second round pick, and a 2024 second round pick. That's a lot. And you're basically your main bag here is DeBrincat, and you can see his WAR percentile. So this is what we're calling out. This is a coming in hot Twitter show. It's called Coming in Hot. So I mean, I don't think there was a lot of thought put into this. But could I argue, if things fell into place and that first round pick was the New York Islanders' first round pick, and the Wingdings did a little bit of winning in the draft lottery, this isn't that far off for me. Like, if you win the draft lottery this year, you want to start loading up with talent now. And I am not super stoked about the free agency market. And I'm going to say it is a lot. And when I say it's not too far off, I mean it. You got to give up to get something. DeBrincat had a shit season this year, but things have gone better for him. You could see, even with his poo-poo season this year, where it wasn't completely terrible, but you can see on the WAR percentile rank, it dipped below 70%. But he had, playing with maybe a stronger version of the Chicago Blackhawks when that was going down. He was up in the near 100% and in the upper 90s. So this is a guy, top power play percentage, even strength offense is there. The even strength defense is not, but we've talked about needing a guy with finishing abilities, not top 7% in the league. This is a conversation you want to be a part of. This is probably too much, but this is my hot take on this. I think a lot of people said no way too quick. And we were just talking about losing Gustav Lindstrom.
Yeah. No, so I like Joe Diamond. Welcome. Just throwing out there. That's just for the rights to sign DeBrincat. He still need to be signed. Absolutely correct there. Ken Young throwing in, I can't see a trade with a division rival, especially Ottawa. As far as being our peers, I do think that would be an odd trade to sell to the fan base on Ottawa's side.
True.
But I will say, who says no? I think both teams say not yet. And funny enough, I could see a world where the trade looks more appealing to Ottawa if Kopp is not involved, so they don't have that contract on their books. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty sexy, right?
I will say this. I was coming in hot with my take. Joe's reminder that this, I was thinking this, I'm looking at this with the 1 year. I don't know. I take this back. Actually, I'm going to walk this completely back. This is a lot for just signing rights. I'm sorry.
No, but I mean, this is kind of what we've preached, right? Trying to get upper talent, scoring talent on the team. So, Kopp still has a place in the National Hockey League. It's not really on the score sheet. And it would just be about whether you guys can stomach giving up a top 20-ish first round pick, and then shenanigans to get DeBrincat. And
right, and you're right. The biggest piece missing here is shenanigans are. We want to be able to talk to Alex and work something out before any of this got signed off. If that was the case, absolutely. Again, not the trade I do, but we're in that that's the conversation I want to be in, is trading chunks of draft picks for guys that can make a difference next year. Right?
Yeah. I mean, the priority one is we the ones. That's priority one. Priority two is finding a way to probably sell that other first rounder. I like that idea a lot.
And if this means anything to anybody, what we're looking at here, and yeah, you know what? Actually, even to your point, like what you're saying, like I'm walking it back. Still, it's close. It's obviously too much, but that's the conversation we want to be in. You draft all these guys too. I mean, there's still that next part of the conversation that has to happen. So you're trading away mostly draft picks to pick up signing rights. I feel like that's the conversation you want to be in, because you're talking about years before most of these guys are going to get a sniff. This is just DeBrincat's. I talked about his WAR slide from that 92% he has over the last 3 years. It's closer in the 95s and ups before this past season. You can see overall across the league just wasn't going hot. Okay, we got to keep moving. We do have an ad to share today, so we're going to run through that real quick. We'll come back. We'll talk some draft. NHL draft. Let's say that. Light the lamp during the hockey playoffs with DraftKings Sportsbook. Right now, new customers can make a $5 bet and score $150 in bonus bets instantly. And if you're not a new customer, I am on that thing every night with those quick same game parlays you can put together. One of them I was just looking at. You go tonight, you got Colorado, you get a line, you get a Mikko Rantanen goal, and boom, 3 things that, of course, it's against Seattle. It feels pretty good that's going to happen. That's just one of the many things that are on there, and they build up those little same-game parlays. Guess what? You're going to make a little bit more money because you're combining all of these things that are probably going to happen. Feels pretty good. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and sign up with code THPN. New customers can make a $5 hockey playoff bet and score $150 in bonus bets instantly. That's code THPN, only at DraftKings Sportsbook.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In Massachusetts, call 800-327-5050 or visit gamblinghelpline.ma.org. In New York, call 877-8-HOPENY or text HOPENY 467-369. In Kansas, call 1-800-522-4700. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, 21 and over in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for offer details. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources.
All right, I'm gonna love that forever. All right, just to recap with you guys, our draft lottery odds. This is shared from last week, so yes, it has Mike's favorite blemish, that there's a 0.2% chance that we land a draft pick that we can't actually land. But of course, the 5% on pick number 1, 5.2% on pick number 2. So for me, it made sense that we at least talk about the difference makers. What if we win the draft lottery? It's an easy conversation to have, but I just thought, let's do it, right? We're talking about Connor Bedard, Adam Fantilli, Matvei Michkov. I will say right now, I think the Michkov conversation, we can let picks 3 through 8 have him out. Like, go at it. If he makes it all the way to 9 and that's where we end up picking, sure. Okay, whatever. We'll do it.
Yeah, I don't know how you want to touch on that, but honestly, the way that, like, how tough it's going to be to figure out, when's he coming over? Exactly. Like, I could almost see him dropping to us, even if we had a nightmare situation and we just drafted at 9 or 10. I don't know if our team's really going to, be willing to roll the dice like that. I feel like we can, because we have 2 first-round picks.
I think you're talking about Anaheim is a ways, Columbus is a ways, Chicago is a ways. Like, they don't need these turnarounds right now. I mean, San Jose, I think Montreal, and now we're getting into that conversation where it's like, all right, probably not Montreal. Arizona, they're talking about, right, like Michkov could come around right when they have their new arena, so that would be really cool for them. We'd also have Philly and Washington passing on him too, which I don't know. What a weird conversation for Washington to have internally. Like, are we going to take Michkov, and maybe by the time he's here, Ovechkin's on the way out? Interesting take for Washington. But even then, I'm kind of, even at 9, I don't know. Like, we're going to talk about guys today I'd be happy with. So I don't know. You know, like, I think about Steve Yzerman taking Moritz Seider to fit what the way he wants to build this team. He was so far off everyone else's projections for that draft, but he wanted Moritz Seider. So I don't know if Michkov drops. Steve should already have a plan in place, right, for who he's taking at 9. So based on that, I feel like he would just go that route. And he wouldn't expect Michkov to drop. But if you're losing me, just let me know. But of course, Bedard, Fantilli is where we're at. There's a part of me it's a weird part of me because Bedard, of course, makes the huge difference. But we already had get out of here. I don't care that we're losing connection to Twitch. We already had Tristan thrown in the chat early on. I hope we get pick 2 and take Fantilli. Wouldn't be surprised if Yzerman took Michkov or Carlson at pick 2. But that's where I like right now. You want to talk about a DraftKings ad? I'm thinking about putting down a huge chunk of money because you could still put down money that Fantilli will go number 2. I can't see a world where that doesn't happen. He just looks like such a solid prospect. But real quick, we'll run through Bedard. Of course, center, 5'10", 185 pounds. He's ranked number 1 across the board. This isn't one of those years. I mean, you guys know, Connor Bedard is special. I like what Scott Wheeler put together. His 100 goals, this being his draft year. Having a wrist shot and a style of wrist shot that has a name. They're calling it the Bedard already.
Woo.
But he still scored more goals with a slap shot. It's insane. Absolutely insane. So I just, this is one of those things that it's just not going to happen. But if we win, obviously you're taking Bedard. But yeah, this is from Scott Wheeler's article. Scouts and NHL players are already calling the Bedard, and it's already patented curl and drop motion that pulls the puck into his feet and an oddly upright stance, and then uses momentum and pressure to uncork a heavy release. So this is one of those things too, where the Red Wings would not just be drafting, like we're talking about, high level playmaker. This is the guy who's the playmaker and then finishes that play on his own. Again, coming back to the 100 goals this year. I mean, I don't need to make the argument that Connor Bedard is going to be the game changer. Like, we all know this. But just to go to the experts, Bedard, again, from Scott Wheeler of The Athletic, he can do things with the puck that nobody else in the sport can replicate. And he takes the statement a step further. I'm not talking about him compared to other prospects in the draft. I'm talking about nobody. As in, you could put him on the ice with the world's best shooters, Matthews, Kucherov, Laine, Ovechkin, Stamkos, and they wouldn't be able to load up just off their lead skate and fire it off balance like he does, going back to this Bedard wrister too. He's got one of the best shooting actions motion I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Game changer. Red Wings need finishing. Fills multiple holes, but one of the most important one. Adam Fantilli, almost across the board, I'm pretty sure. Ranked number 2, except for...
Let me cut you off for half a second.
Oh, did you want to touch on the greatest?
No, I mean, take what's supposed to be 90 seconds, and then we'll quickly turn into a rabbit hole of you watching it for the next 45 minutes, and just watch that wrist shot of his. It's truly breathtaking. Especially when they get the slow-mo and the stick nearly splitting in half from what he's doing, all the pressure that he's putting on that shot. So it's whoever gets him, probably us. When we get him, it's going to be pretty exciting. I can't imagine he's going to need much seasoning even as a young pup there. But go ahead, man.
I think I have one. I could pull one up real quick if you guys haven't seen the Bedard yet.
Yeah. And just real quick, Jared's saying if the Wings pulled Bedard, I'd uncork a heavy, heavy release. Thank you, Jared.
Yeah, I mean, so just to remind you guys too, we are going to try and go live for you guys. So we'll have our drinks prepared. We have a very special drink we're lining up in case we're celebrating, and of course we're going to have one prepared in case we're going in the other direction. You know what? We'll have Kleenex prepared for a couple different reasons too. All right, so Bedard's got the puck, and we're going to see him load up the shot. I think I don't think there's any sound, but yeah, you let me know. I think this is going
sound free. Yep, we're good.
Oh, now Bedard's got the puck. Sorry.
Wow.
Woo. It's just so unique, right? Like when Wheeler says like this shot already has a name.
Yeah, he's almost like upright.
Yeah. It's incredibly it's so weird. Like especially all the times that Wheeler's put like the unicorn of each draft, like he's called that out. To think too, like Bedard won't get that this year because it's just so special. We don't even need to bother, but it's such a weird looking shot. And I would call out like the first time I saw Pavel Datsyuk and I went, wow, I've never seen anybody look so weird skating down the ice with those huge shoulders and the big old light bulb head.
Yeah. Athletic Quasimodo.
Yeah, for sure. Joe Diamond, Jared with the best comment ever. Dan B, Costa, another great game last night. Toledo's up 3-0 in that championship.
Cool.
All right, so back to our top two draft prospects. Adam Fantilli, again, across the board except for draft prospects hockey, has him ranked number 2, 18-year-old, coming out of U of M. I just, like, to me, I already told you, and the Hobey Baker winner, of course, led the NCAA with 65 points this past season. This is something, too. It's so unique with Adam Fantilli. Listen to Ryan Lambert talk about it. But the NCAA, when giving out the Hobey Baker, is notorious for not giving it to freshmen. And it was almost like a given. Like, oh, this is just, they're giving him the nod. You know, hey, you had a great season, but the Hobey Baker goes to an established player. And oh, he had such an amazing season. He won it anyway. 6'2", 200 pounds. He's one of the best skaters in this draft. It's not often we see players his size that can move like him. Skating is balanced. It's powerful. Within his movement patterns, he can handle the puck on a string. He's going to be a transition monster. Like we know, we've talked about so many times as an issue for the Red Wings on even strength and the power play. He could score from mid-range consistently with his low kick wrister. He's got an ability to protect the puck, shade in and out of coverage. He's got a dangerous curl and drag wrister, similar to Bedard, and he's comfortable in traffic. When he's on, he can completely take over a game. Scott goes on to say, he also said, shed some of the selfishness and force it plays that could frustrate me and others at lower levels, which is good to hear. This is something that I kept reading about Fantilli, is that he is amazing to coach, which for one of the things we always see from Steve Yzerman draft picks, we keep hearing over and over. So again, you get pick number 1, you're not taking Connor Bedard, but there's something about getting the number 2 pick. It's something weird in me. Like, I don't know. I think I'm going to be happy either way. You know, there's something about it. I kind of just want that number 2 pick, not more than the number 1, but there's something about the perfect, like the synchronicity, right? Like in Detroit sports, another number 2 pick from the University of Michigan coming in to save a lowly Detroit sports franchise. It's all there.
Yeah. No, I when we're doing these draft previews, and I know you mentioned it a second ago, it's like a few of these guys, there's almost just no point to doing an analysis of these guys, because it's like based on where we're limited draft wise, right? We can either take 1, 2, 9, 10, 11. It's like 1 and 2 are so far and away, I think. But we're going to go over Michkov, and yeah, he's a hell of a talented guy. But that risk factor for me about what's when is he actually going to come overseas to say hello? It's so far away with Fantilli and Bedard. It feels like we should really be limiting our draft coverage to like 1, 2. Those are set.
Yep.
And then, what to do with the guys who are, just outside that, right around the top 10.
Yeah, I'll say this. I like what Tristan threw out there, because I remember this too, the end of the season presser. Yzerman throws out there such a strong top 3 of Bedard, Fantilli, and Karlsson, amongst others. Yes. And Tristan throws out there, he said it with a smirk, and then he goes on to say, read into that however you want, but I found that very interesting. Yeah, I absolutely think number 2, if we got it, would be Fantilli. I think there's so many good connections there, and it fits along our timeline. Scott Wheeler also went on to say, like, out of all these guys in the draft, who's going to be in the NHL this year or next season? Sorry. He couldn't comment on anybody else, but he knew for sure Fantilli, Bedard, obviously Bedard, but Fantilli's in that boat too. It's hard to anybody else for sure, but he knows those 2 guys are both going to be in the NHL next year. It's huge.
I mean, none of us really know, right? And I think what Tristan was alluding to was maybe Michkov would be, the guy we target, which is who we're going to talk about next. But I think it was more about Steve is, I don't think he wants to throw shade at guys that are, he's kind of a glasses half empty kind of guy. And I think he's already planning for who am I going to draft at 11?
Yeah.
So I think really what he was trying to do is try to elevate, the prospects that he's going to have to choose from when the Red Wings pick comes around.
Yeah, I did like Righteous is like, yeah. So who are we getting at 11? Ketzel, lull, the inevitability of getting screwed again. And Dan B does point out, there's the talent of Michkov, and Scott Wheeler, just to kind of put out a quick context, does say like there's a conversation that he's number 2 on Scott's list, but there's all the variables mixed into it. He just couldn't do it. So number 3. But here's what I did, guys. I ran us through number 9. I brought in, of course, I can't believe he's getting into hockey, but yeah, Will Smith, the star of the Academy Awards from 2 years ago, picked up Will Smith at number 9 from the USHL. Gavin Brindley at number 18, picked up a right winger. Samuel Honzek at number 41. I was maybe a little unfair here because Honzek is actually ranked in the top 20 for Scott Wheeler. But he was available. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. And then I had some fun. Because with pick 42, ranked number 50 for FC, I went with Noah Dower Nilson, who's having a better season than his brother Liam did in his draft year. And by all accounts, Noah seems to be a more solid draft prospect than Liam. But of course, I think we all remember Håkan Andersson was pounding the table. No, Liam Dower Nilson. We all remember that story. Yeah. Because of how good Noah's doing, I wondered, I was like, is it possible with all the names that get bantied about that a couple of years ago, Håkan saw Noah play? Not that Liam is bad, but is there a possibility with how much everybody loves Noah? And, I think Liam, we got him third round or fourth round. I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, Noah being ranked as a top 50 prospect right now by FC's rankings, FC Hockey's rankings, ranked a little bit higher than his brother. I was jokingly had the thought whoops, what if he watched the wrong Dower Nilson? But anyway, last pick here, of course, pick 41, 42, and 43, all back to back. This is so incredibly amazing for Steve Yzerman to have this huge chunk of time to figure out either who he's going to draft or have all this time to move some picks. This is going to be an incredible few minutes to watch the draft. But with pick 43, I went with Tom Willander. So, of course, in a few seasons, we'll have Willander and Willander lining up a defensive pairing. Be very
I can't
happy
wait for that commentary team to try and get through the Willander to Willander, Willander to Willander. Yeah, it's going to be really fun.
Just wait till the ESPN broadcast gets a hold of it. So yeah,
they'll have ratified that contract by then. But go
ahead. Calls me out here. Will Smith won't be there at 9. I actually redid this a few times so that I could get the boy in there, get my man, because we have some slides lined up for Will Smith. Tristan wants to know what I did this on. Just go to FC Hockey, my man. It's a free tool that you guys can all do. Of course, you could draft all the way through 7 rounds. I just figured, I'm not that guy. I don't really care past the 2nd round. I think I'll get the updates on Twitter, but I don't know. You guys are better humans than I am. If 3rd round picks are coming up and you guys are like, man, I've watched 50 games of that kid. He's for real. Guys, we nailed it with our 7th round pick.
And I will say real quick too with this is Ketzel kind of pushing back on what's going to happen at 41, 42, 43.
Oh my God.
I'd be pretty surprised if we drafted all 3 of those or any of them, to be honest. I feel that kind of feels like a bundle to thank you, Matt. You have the J Fresh for Will Smith. Do you have that over there?
This is Elite Prospects. So Will Smith, I to finish your thought for Ketzel too. He's not confident all 5 of those picks will be there. I feel like we'll get 2 draft picks.
I'm just asking because there's actual Will Smith, the hockey player data. We know that's the photo of the actor, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just making sure. Okay, cool.
Righteous says, talk about his wife and you're getting boarded. All right. So Will Smith, 18-year-old, 6-foot center, 172 pounds. Consolidated rankings from Elite Prospects has him at number 6. Elite Prospects itself has him at number 9. FC Hockey had him at 6. Bob McKenzie, who usually does a pretty good job of lining up where these picks are going because his ranking is influenced by conversations with these teams internally. He has him at where is he? He has him at number 6. He's going to go as high as number 3 with NHL Central Scouting, but that's North American players. But Sportsnet has him at number 5 overall. So it's as high as he's going. What we're looking at here, I thought this was really cool, but for U.S. forwards, his points per game going from the U18 draft year right here, doing just, or actually I should say this, doing better. I was going to say just as well. Doing better than Caulfield, Logan Cooley, Trevor Zegras, Matt Boldy, and
future Hall of Famer
Dylan Larkin. Trying to measure himself up to Jack Hughes. This is, of course, the points per game is what they're putting up for US NTDP. Not a bad list to be a part of. A lot of names still have quite a fair bit that they need to show for themselves, but to be just under Hughes,
pretty good.
Pretty good. This year he's centered under 18 teams. First line with wingers Ryan Leonard and Gabe Perreault. I was actually trying to line this up so that we could get Will Smith and Gabe Perreault. He's 18th ranked prospect through FC Hockey. Put up a huge chunk of points with Will. Together, they form the most productive line in the history of the program. Smith has played to above 2 points per game and was named MVP of the BioSteel All-American game along the way. But yeah, that's one of those fun conversations. Like maybe the Red Wings use one of those 2nd round picks to trade up, and you could go into your training camp and try and keep this first line together. That would be pretty cool, or at least a couple elements of that. But that's I was eyeballing Gabe Perreault along the lines of that 18th pick. But it's a conversation to have, of course. Are you going to use those picks to get players that are available now? Are you going to use those picks to trade up? Are you going to package a bunch of them for just one thing, which would be, holy shit, would that be the most fun conversation? Okay, just a couple more things here, and then, let's run through the last couple of guys here, because I said a half hour, and I screwed Mike over, because now we're at 45 minutes. All right, so we'll go over Gavin Brindley here, is 25th ranked, but I like my man as a right wing. He's 5'9". He's ranked as high as 14th by FC Hockey. He's really hitting the bottom of the barrel for TSN's Bob McKenzie. He's one of 3 draft eligibles on this list playing college hockey this season. Brindley hasn't just settled into U of M. He has looked anywhere from comfortable to impactful in every game, including at center and on the wing. So this is some flexibility here. Plus level skater, gets through his extensions quickly, excels on the edges, rounds corners sharply, and darts around the ice, hunting pucks and pushing through holes. Gavin, I say solid prospect, goes against a lot of what the Red Wings have drafted in regards to size. So I think this would be something fun to think about and kind of mix it up a little bit here. And of course, the flexibility and closeness with U of M. Samuel Honzek. Honzek was one of the steeper ascents in the draft this season when he suffered a leg injury in Slovakia's second game in the World Juniors. Then he got back in late February after a point-less return, put up 2 goals and 6 shots in his second game back. He's a big winger. This guy's 6'4", Mike, 185 pounds now at 18. This is something that goes more in the lane of Steve Yzerman. I think if we landed him in one of those second-round picks, something horrible has come out about Honzek, and we're going to get in trouble for drafting him. But I think this is a very good name to keep in mind. Even maybe we're trading back and we've moved some of those second-round picks and we're moving the first-round pick back. I don't know. Maybe we won the draft lottery and we feel pretty good about Bedard, so we're just going to move back and pick up Honzek later. But I think this is still a pretty good name to keep an eye on, considering he goes as high as 13 by Daily Faceoff and 13 by Sportsnet. And then we'll get into that 29 range with like smart scouting.
Well, he's like guys like him too, I think are really going to get more of a look, especially with Tage Thompson really kicking ass.
Yep.
Especially, I think I can't remember where the think piece was, but it was talking about Soderblom kind of being in that mold. You know, maybe not quite the skater because he's 7 feet tall almost, but having the hands to succeed. So yeah, I'm definitely on board with you on that one, Matt. As far as a guy with that Islanders pick.
And the last 2 here, Noah Dower Nilson. He's an intelligent center with well-rounded tools. He put up 54 points in the J20 National. Just needs to learn consistency. He's got to consistently use that motor, refine those physical tools, protect himself and his team. And then Tom Willanders really jumped off everybody's draft page just because who doesn't want a Willander Wallinder pairing? Fleet-footed, right-handed defenseman who excels defensively, limited puck skills, but has second pairing upside on the right hands. Right side defenseman, we got to start collecting those boys. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, our first episode here, going over some of the draft prospects. Mike's got to go. Mike, thanks still for hanging around and letting me keep you for an extra few minutes there. Guys, sorry we're going to end this so quick.
Just before we go, is it Monday, May 8th is the lottery reveal?
Yes.
I don't know how many of you guys watched The Office. There's an episode where Michael was going to find out if Holly was single or not, and he prepared 2 boxes. One if things were sour and one celebratory. And I think we're going to try and do that on that show. Matt and I are going to be in the same room at the same time recording the episode. We're going to have a sad box, but we're also going to have a happy box.
We're going to be back-to-back, buck naked. Oh, sorry.
That's before the show, Matt. Yeah, we're going to have a happy box. We're going to have a sad box. And I'm really excited to listen to that news with everybody. And hopefully we're all using our happy boxes that night.
Get your happy boxes prepared, ladies and gentlemen. I think good things are coming.
Monday, May 8th, 8 o'clock.
All right, guys, we'll talk to you in a week. And then, of course, on Monday, May 8th, I'll do another one of these drafts through FC Hockey, and then we'll hit on some more prospects next week. All right. Thanks for coming aboard, guys.
Yep.
See ya.
We'll have more pictures of Will Smith. All right. See you guys.